I want to ask you a question about the election results, at least as we're seeing them now. And here, the reliability of pollsters' predictions. It appears that in all areas, Congressional House and Senate, governors and state legislatures, the pollsters were very wrong. The left did not experience a major gain in any area. The presidential is the only exception, and I would suggest that based on what we know, the only reason that the pollsters may be right in that regard, if Biden pulls it off, is because of the voter fraud. But this is the issue. Some have said the pollsters are so far off that they have lost their credibility forever. Well, between your years of experience and your research as a pollster, what do you say about that? They missed it? Why'd they miss it? And has their credibility been lost forever?
I think things aren't always as simple as sometimes the media try to make them. I would say that if you look at the pollsters that were working directly for the candidates, they pretty much called things on the nose. Some other of us, independent pollsters, not aligned with media organizations, we saw this coming. We called it as it is. But when you look at the major media pollsters, what happened, I think, is that they shifted from trying to be an objective measurement and provide objective reporting of the facts to using polling this time as a weapon to deceive the public, to manipulate the public, to suppress vote, to reduce enthusiasm, to have many other kinds of outcomes besides simply informing the population what was going on. I think something else that we should have learned in 2016, and if we didn't then, we need to learn it now, is that technology has changed radically the way that we can conduct research. So we need new procedures, new techniques, new approaches to how we're collecting information, and that rates tell us this, the fear that people now have of divulging some of their opinions to unknown organizations, i.e. pollsters, changes the way that we have to do business. But the bottom line here is, yes, I think you're right. To a large degree, the polling industry has lost the trust of the people, and that's going to change future political battles.
George, based on your observations as a political researcher and pollster over so many, many years, and while the prize of who will be acknowledged as president still rages on, the battle, as we've talked about before on this program, is one of worldview. And with that in mind, how do you see things unfolding as we go into the days ahead?
Well, yeah, Gary, I mean, as you know, we've been talking about this for quite a while, how this really wasn't an election about candidates or about parties or party platforms. It really is a worldview election. And as I stand back and look at what we're experiencing right now, that's made it even clearer because we can see the two sides lining up against each other. On the one hand, those who believe in rule of law. On the other hand, those who reject the law. On the one hand, those who believe in absolute moral truth. On the other hand, those who believe in emotional sovereignty. On the one hand, those who believe in reflection. On the other hand, those who believe more in action. Those who, on the one hand, say rugged individualism with responsibility is critical. On the other hand, a compliant community. On the one hand, those with respect for history and tradition, as opposed to those who desire novelty and adventure and experience. On the one hand, those who want freedom, but understand that comes with responsibility. On the other hand, those who are comfortable with anarchy without any kind of conscience behind it. On the one hand, those who want to honor God. On the other hand, those who honor humanity. So, I mean, the battle line has been so clearly drawn. And what we see happening now with the vote count, I think, is a natural outcome of this division of worldview, the two that I just described. And so we'll see what happens. It's very possible that deceit will prevail in this instance, but that does not give those of us who believe in God, who want to honor Christ, who want to advance God's kingdom, to ever use the same methods, to ever buy into the same lies